So the last weekend we spent together,
Yeah.
I did my first show in Bombay
Yeah.
after a really long
Yeah.
time, ever
Yeah.
since I came back.
Well, your first festival show.
My first
let's
festival
call
show
it that,
and my
yeah.
first show since I was
yeah,
back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you were there at the show.
I was. Yes.
It's always better to get someone off the stage's perspective than me
Yeah.
on stage. And the first thing that happened when I got off stage was you walked up and started giving me feedback.
Yeah.
So how was
No,
the show for you?
I liked it. I actually came up to you with like a positive review, but I felt like you weren't looking for that at the moment. You were like really criticizing yourself, and I was like, okay, this was what was wrong with it, but you did so many other things that were great. So I don't know if you remember the set, but you kind of had like a peaking moment, and then
Yeah.
when you started singing the slower songs, which obviously didn't kind of catch on too much because it was a dip in the set. That was what I told you needed to change. But overall, dude, it was a great show. It was a
for
good
perspective
performance.
for you guys, it was a festival, like a sneaker festival, I guess. I don't know,
It was
streetwear
it was a
festival.
streetwear festival. Yeah.
So there was like maybe 1,000 people there,
Yeah.
but not everyone was there to watch the
Yeah.
show. And it was the first time I was experimenting with a live drummer.
Yes.
So-
yes.
so
Who
yeah.
killed it, by the way?
Yeah,
did
he
kill
killed it,
Shout out
man.
Aman. But you know what was cool about that was that not that many people were there to see you. They were there for like the festival. But when you started coming on, when you performed back home, I think
Yeah.
that was the peak of that set. Because then you had the entire crowd going, singing along and stuff. That is what I told you needed to stick to
Yeah.
more than anything else. And it was just cool to see everyone kind of come from the festival to the stage and just kind of hang out and just listen to some great music, man.
You know, more than what I felt I learned with that dip in energy was when I stayed back
Yeah.
and watched Yash Raj, who was the headliner,
Yes.
close that show.
Yes.
Man,
No,
that
he
guy
was-
can perform.
He was great. He was
Like
great.
you described him as a veteran of
Yeah.
live performance.
Yeah.
And I actually messaged him
Yeah.
the day after the show,
Yeah.
being like, dude, you had me going home and rewriting all my songs. Like that's
Yeah,
how
no,
good
straight
your
up, dude.
performance
What
was.
what I told you is that, and this is true. You can only get that kind of set from experience. Like he had everything going for him. You know, like he
Yeah.
had his peaks were high as hell, but he didn't have any valleys. He just kept it. He just kept the energy going. So like, that was definitely something for you to pick up on as well. I think you did as well.
You know, one cool thing he did. So all of us had backdrops.
Yes. Yes.
Mine was just random shit that the lighting
Yeah.
guy was doing because I didn't even know we'd have backdrops.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's a veteran. He knew
Yeah.
that he would have a backdrop. And the smart thing this guy did is he just had his name plastered at the back.
Yeah. Just who
So,
like who is
Yash
this
Raj,
guy?
yeah.
Who's this? Yash
So
Raj.
anytime you take a story and share
Yeah.
it, you know exactly who's
Yeah,
performing.
Yeah.
And that got me thinking. I brought this up to you,
Yeah.
but I am starting to hate my stage name, which is Adi, which is just my normal name.
You know, you've kind of spoken about this before, and I do agree that there is something to like having like a really unique name to like a performance, type of career. But I think Audi is fine. Like, what would be the alternatives that you change it to? I think you asked that question on your story. What were
Yeah.
some of the answers that you got? Were people like fucking around, or people just genuinely wanted to help?
Most people who replied were just like, why don't you just do Adi AVG?
Yeah.
And like I chose that Instagram handle because Adi wasn't available.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do Adi AVG. Like that doesn't make enough sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, you're just calling yourself average off the bat as well.
Exactly.
But also, I wanted to bring this up because I knew it was like something you were mad about when I introduced you at a concert that you've done in the past. I introduced you as your full name. I said Aditya Lodha, and you were just like, he came up to me at the after party, and he was just like, dude, why did you say that? You know my stage name is Adi. I was like, okay, but dude, what do you feel about just using your full name as the
Okay, you know
the
what?
centerpiece?
It could be cool. My two concerns out there would be Aditya is one of the most common names in India.
Okay, fair enough.
Second, my market is 40% US UK and they can barely say Adi properly. They call me Audi for like for most of the time I was there. So for them to say Aditya is like a trick.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought that show up because
Hmm.
what I noticed after doing this festival show
Yeah.
is that I hate doing shows where where it seems like there's no thought put in behind the scenes, like for the interim show, the
Yeah.
one that you were talking,
Yeah.
the one where you emceed.
Yep. Yep.
We set up a lemonade stand. We
Yep.
did the grocery store, all of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to create more experiences like that
Yeah.
going forward. And I'm working now on creating like a Sunday service kind of show
Really?
where we have a full band,
yeah.
we have a choir and everything. And like that's going to be the appeal for you to come watch the show.
yeah.
I would
Yeah.
probably not make any money off of it because you have to pay all of these
Yeah.
people. But it would be so cool for someone to come see that and then be like, dude, you need to go for Adi's next show because he does different stuff than what everyone else does.
So you planning to have like an artist lineup as well then? How you did for
I
the interim
don't-
show?
No,
Or just
probably
you?
not. Yeah, just
Yeah,
me.
why? Fair enough. Why not?
Because it's too much work.
Yeah,
man.
no, it is. It is. I think coordinating with people would be the hardest part about doing that.
Yeah.